Hi guys, I just want to share with you just a little small project that I've just finished off today. In front of you I've just made a really small little mini tag book, and what I've done, I've taken advantage of using tea bags. So if we go inside, I've done predominantly a lot of stamping. We've got this wonderful mixed media fabric here, and I've just made a little tuck spot here, so I've got a little tag inside. These are the tea bags, and inside each little tea bag is a little journaling tag. I've used some of my mixed media paper, and I've just used some of my tissue paper, the offcuts, and just layered these items up. And this just happens to be a brown envelope that I've used. So as we work our way through, you will see predominantly lots of little stamps, more little tags in each and every single one. And more stamping. Some of this is just using some of my ephemera, and I just wanted to keep a little project that I could do that was very, very simple, because at present moment I'm recovering from an operation. So whilst this is going on, I don't want to start anything too major, and I thought this is a lovely way of using a different tea bag idea. I know I love using my round tea bags, but I thought on this occasion we could do something with those long thin ones that we get from like the clipper and the Twinings. Now this is fiddly, I won't deny that, but I've had lots of fun doing this, and the fiddly bit is when you go to put the tags back inside. And obviously I've enjoyed doing some stamping while sitting at my desk. So as you can see, I've also taken advantage of some wonderful stamps. So it's a little signature sewn in there, and it predominantly goes all the way through. More mixed media paper, and this is like, I've got this shiny web style paper that you can decorate your floral flowers with, which I've just used some Tim Holtz tissue paper and a bit of acrylic paint. So all in all, as you can see, about 5 pages in total, so 5 whole tea bags were used throughout this little project. We've just got all sorts of little pieces that I've cut round. I've actually just made my own tags, worked it out through myself, just sort of like measured the distance, because little tea bags all do vary. Try and keep them all to the same company, and then they should all be the same set size. There you go guys. Well, hopefully you like that little flick through, and as you can see, just coming to the end here, and I put a little bit of lace trim that I've stained up with onion skins. That's why we've got this lovely rusty orange on there, and I've just done some fussy cutting and a little bit of stamping on the front. So how do we go about making our own? Firstly, you need your tea bag. I've used it, I've had my cup of tea. This is fairly dry, but not completely dry. If you let them dry in the sun, they can go very hard and very crispy. This one doesn't have a little staple. Fortunately, this particular Twinings one just has a little loop in it. I'm going to take a scalpel. You can be very careful if you're using a scalpel, naturally. It's just a tool of my choice. You can take a pair of scissors, and we're just going to literally unthread it, pull it out, open it up, empty the contents. Now you can see that this end is already open, ready for me to empty the contents. Now in my case I'm going to empty it into the bin. You could empty it into a tray, you can even put it onto your garden, it's organic. Once you've emptied your tea bag, you're going to find that you've got something very similar to these. So here is a selection that I've already done, and these are completely dry, but what they are missing, they need to be ironed as flat as possible. So we've got an iron to hand. I'm just going to flip that on. Going to put my scalpel away. It's entirely up to you if you want to keep your tag here for another purpose. I'm sure you could actually attach it if you wanted to your little tags, and you can use them as a pull. but I thought that these tags are rather big in comparison to the actual size, so that's why I've not used them. Now the iron is obviously just heating up, and I'm trying not to knock everything over at the same time here, and you will need to make sure that these are as flat as possible, because without them, and also empty of all of those dry tea leaves. I'm using my kitchen work surface here, and the most important thing what we're trying to avoid is we do not want to split the join of the tea bag. I'll just share with you. There's a join which has been sealed. We do not wish to split that open. We want to keep that sealed. Once we find it flat, we're going to fold it in half and re-iron again. So we're going to find the centre. Crease it. Now if these are been dried in the sunshine, they can have a tendency to crack, so you actually want them as supple as you possibly can, preferably not dried absolutely to a crisp, and then re-iron and proceed to do another 4, so there's 5 in total, so that would give you 5 times 4, 5 times 4, 20 sides in total. I've gone ahead and now ironed 5 separate little tea bags in half, so they are now all ready for the stamping. As you can see, a variety of different colours there going on with the way that they have just dried. Set of stamps and a mementos, that's just Tuxedo Black, that's what I'm going to be using for this project, and we're just going to stamp to our heart's content. I've got like the Crafter's Companion, I've got some wonderful sayings here, and I've also got these little images from these CDs, and they are really great because they are little mini ones and they will go very, very nicely into this little tea bag journal. So what we're going to do is just do a little bit of decorating. Nothing more drastic than getting your tea bag. Got to think, we know where the centre is, and we've got to think that we're going to sew that into a signature, so we're going to keep our stamping somewhere predominantly on the outside edge. I've just got this simple dragonfly, and away you can just decorate to your heart's content. I don't think the tea bag is going to stand up to having anything glued onto it, because it's so perforated it's just going to glue the actual tag shut. So that's why stamping is fabulous for this. On goes the stamp, just like so, and as you can see we've already got the start of the inspiration for our tag journal. I'm going to spend a bit more time now, guys, and get this stamped up, and then we'll move on to the next section of placing our tags inside. Right guys, I'm going to assume that you've gone ahead and you've done a lot more stamping, and all of your pages are now ready to put together in your book. So we literally are going to put our 5 single tea bags together. We need to work on our cover, and we also need to consider our tags. The fiddly bit is making tags. They can be plain. As I said, these are just pieces of tissue paper over a few sets of old envelopes. Bit of mixed media paper here. This is basically just a whole set of tissue paper, Mod Podge, stamping, tea bags. Cartridge paper here with some stamps, and I've just distressed them with some ink. Now the sizing that fits into these tea bags here transpired to be 3 inches along and 1.5 inches in depth, and I've just come along and cut the corners off randomly. It works for me, and these are going to fit very carefully This is a difficult bit. You do not want that little section. There we go. That goes in like so, but you do not want to split that. I haven't glued it, I've just left it natural. So it is a little fiddly when you go in and out of the book, but I just like it. That's just me. I like fiddleness. So that's how you go about making your tags. You can go about choosing whichever. You could use some designer paper or maybe a printable to achieve that, or some of your mixed media work. I've also got this cover here that has come. This is been found on the roadside, literally found on the roadside, and I have no idea what it was originally, but what I've done, I've sealed it. It's fabric. It looked to me as if it had lots and lots of oil on it, and I've just sealed it with Mod Podge gloss, so nothing is now coming off on my fingertips apart from the fact of where I've done the stamping earlier. And that is what I'm going to use, or that's what I use to make this particular journal cover. One we have here, and we need to make this 2 and I believe ½ inches to just over 2 1/4. So I'm going to use my quarters rule and just score along with my pencil. And keep going, and then I'm going to cut this out and we'll cut back when it's time to actually sew in the signature. Well, it's all cut, and the overall length is actually 11 inches in length by 2 1/4 inches. So what I done was, to make mine, I folded it in half, found the centre, and I am just random. I don't like everything to be too precise. I just work ad hoc, so to speak. I've just got some cotton and a needle, just threaded it up. So just got some blue cotton here and a needle. It's not knotted. My 5 signatures, 1, 2, well, say 5 signatures, my 5 tea bags. Place them all together. So the tags aren't in there, don't need those in there. And everything is done by eye, find the centre, in eye pop, out comes the needle. I just roughly work out where the centre is, and in goes the needle. Pull it through, but leave a tag hanging, because I may even be inclined to just place my thumb on top and do that whilst filming at the same time. Roughly find the centre again. Now I pierce a hole through to indicate where I'm coming back. So I've shoved my needle through. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to pull that needle out, because what I'm going to try and do is follow the hole I've made. Which is probably going to be rather impossible to share with you. If I'm really lucky, I can pierce straight through the hole I've just made. I don't fuss around when it comes down to sewing in signatures. No siree, Bob. And then back through, find centre. This one is going to be a little bit more challenging. Here we go. But it's done. Simple as that. That is my 3-hole pamphlet stitch, just done randomly, quickly. And I'm just going to take the ends, knot, cut, so there you go, there's your 3-hole pamphlet stitch, quickly done. Then I'm going to fold this guy back on itself. We've got tags to go in, they're going to stick out, so I'm going to give a little bit of allowance for our tags. They're going to go into our pages like so, and they're going to stick out. And then turn that over, fold it, flip it, roughly work out where that one is, fold it, flip it, open it back out, increase. Can you see that coming together like so? And that is how I went about making my little tea bag journal. I'm going to glue those down the outside here with some firm glue. Put some bits and pieces on the side. Fill this with my little tags. And then all in all, you are good to go on a little tea bag journal all of your own. You will find that the first time you've actually got to separate once this is separated, you won't have to do this again. I was determined, I did succeed. All I did was I got the little needle that I've got in my hand here and just worked that in until I opened up this particular section with the needle, and now I can go in with that tag. So basically, if you're not into being really cautious and you're a little bit heavy-handed, this particular project is not necessarily for you. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there and round this one up for the moment and catch up with you later.